All right, time for a lesson. I'll instruct manually, I guess, is what I shall do. All right. Oh, this isn't the classroom. It's the council meeting. I was about to say, listen up. If I see anybody on their phones, I'm confiscating it. Linhart, you better not be napping in class. Ferdinand, don't be sneaking out. Hold on. Who needed to train specific things? I guess Petra needed to learn, like, Lance stuff. I guess, right? So I'll go ahead and do this. I might just auto-instruct is what I honestly might do. Just because of, like, being pre-done. Okay, so this is what Yuritsa starts out with. Good sword and lance there. A little bit of axe. Maybe I should give him a sword at some point. Maybe. Apparently the Death Knight can use swords. Interesting. Not just lances and stuff. Or I'll just, you know... Yeah, everyone take off their hats. That's what I should say in class. Yo, I had teachers in high school who were so livid about, like, wearing hats in school. And I made this hat. Well, I didn't make the hat itself. I painted the white on front. It's not like I made the hat. I got a blank black hat and I painted the white on front. I had some teachers that were so dang livid about, like, wearing a hat around. And this was before I even tied my hair in a ponytail. So, like, my hair was getting in my face all the freaking time. But I would wear it, like, in and out of school. But wouldn't wear it, like, during school stuff because of how livid some teachers would get about it. But there was this one guy. It was the chemistry teacher, I think. And chemistry was the only one of the sciences that I didn't take, so I never had his class. But, so even though I never had any one of his classes, he freaking hated me for so much as walking in with my hat. Like, even just going to my locker. It was ludicrous. Like, I remember there was this one time that I literally just walked in the doors, I go around the corner, I'm going on my way to my locker, and there's some people that I know that are, like, in front of this guy's class. And so I start talking to them a little bit, and after talking a little bit, they wind up going off to their thing, and I'm gonna start going over to my locker, and this guy freaking marches out of his classroom. He's, like, stomping his feet all angrily, coming out of the classroom, and he, like, really sternly tells me about, like, no hats in school. And I say, like, oh, I just walked in. Like, I was just going to my locker. I just got here. And then he puts his arms up like this, and he looks around and he says, I don't see any entrances around here. And then, like, sternly tells me again to take it off. Like, that guy freaking hated me. It was crazy. And there was a time, like, I think it was like a year later after I graduated from high school, where I needed to come back to get my yearbook. And I don't think it was the same teacher, but I remember when I came back a year later to get the yearbook that was only printed then for whatever reason. I came in through the entrance and I went over to the languages area a little bit before lunch, because I wanted during the lunchtime to be able to go catch up with my Spanish teacher and my German teacher and such. And whoops, I wiped off a smidge on my keyboard, and I accidentally hit the hotkey for this layout, which is like the two Nintendo DS screens. Sometimes it'd be like that. I don't think it was the same guy. It might have been, because I don't quite remember his face, but when I went over to the languages area and waited in one of the entrances, this one teacher that was, like, right at the front of the school followed me all the way to, like, the other side of the school, because I was wearing a hat, and he was sketched out by me and thought that I was someone there to, like, he told me that it was like a security precaution because people were coming in knocking over trash cans or something like that. He thought that I wasn't a student there, which I wasn't a student there anymore. But he thought that I was someone who wasn't a student that was coming in to cause trouble. I was like, no, I'm just waiting here for, like, lunch to start to catch up with my Spanish teacher before I go and get my my yearbook. I was literally called in here to come and get my yearbook. But he, I mean, it might also be like a long hair stereotype kind of thing is what it might have been. He might not have wanted to say it. But I know that, like, long-haired guys have, like, the stereotype of being, like, stoners and untrustworthy people and such. So it is always possible that I might have gotten stereotyped for that. It's always a possibility. But this guy literally followed me from, like, one end of the school to the complete opposite side and said that the reason was for the hat. And because apparently you're not allowed to wear hats because then the security cameras can't see your face and if you're causing trouble or something like that. And he really wanted me to take it off. But I think, honestly, I think he probably just stereotyped me for for my hair, if I had to guess. But yeah, let's just see here. The hat hate happened at your school. You could wear them when not in class, though. At least you could do that. At least there was that.
Tell me something.
Tell you something. Hey, Professor, I think I'm ready. I think it's time you finally gave me a nickname. What it's I gotta do to earn one? you actually have one, but it's too scary to say out loud. Keep working hard, you know, eventually earn one. It should come up naturally. It's too scary to say out loud.
Great answer.
Oh, man. But yeah, let's see here. Bet that growing up, he was never allowed to wear a hat. That's the, yeah, that's the villain backstory of the one teacher at my high school there. My goodness, being a teacher yourself, seriously don't know why so many colleges are triggered by hats. My college isn't triggered by hats at all. I can wear hats around my freaking college campus all the time. Like, they don't care about that at all. But my high school hated hats. My university is so chilled out. Nobody cares. Nobody cares in university. Be wearing whatever the heck, essentially. But yeah, let's see here. Hat detected. Eliminate risk with intense prejudice. And it's a pattern. All criminals have worn hats. Yeah, exactly. That's what's going on there. Wearing hats in class was just seen as disrespectful in your high school. That's the excuse that I got from like the super cranky teacher in question like forever ago. But the teacher that like followed me to the other side of school said it was a security reason. But the former guy said that it was just like a respect thing. And like, what is that? Like, you know, taking off a hat as like a sign of respect in the school, it just seems like such an old-fashioned idea to me. Like, there are some very brief times that like I'll see it as a, you know, showing my full self kind of thing. Like if I'm coming into my taekwondo school, for example, sometimes as I come in, there'll be some of the junior belts or some of the fellow senior belts that'll bow to me and say, "Hello, sir, 안녕하세요." And when they bow and I bow to them, I take the lid of my hat and I take it off of my side. I bow to them with the hat off and then I put the hat back on again. So it's like I'm like showing you my full self kind of thing. So there's like very brief moments like that where I do it as like a very brief respect thing like that. So, and obviously I don't wear my hat when I'm training there or anything like that, but I do wear it in and out there. And if anyone bows to me, I bow back to them and I do it with like the hat off essentially. So, but that's the only context in which I take my hat off as like a respect thing. I think that, you know, I do think that it's a kind of old-fashioned idea and such, you know, especially considering like this is a hat that is really important to me after all these years. You know, it's a really important symbol kind of thing. Are you trustworthy? FYI saying yes, what untrustworthy saying people say a conundrum indeed. When you stop, you say, "Stop, criminal scum, you violated this law. Stop, you violated the law. Pay the quarter fine or serve your sentence. Your stolen goods are now forfeit." But yeah, that's good to hear. Why you're wearing pants in school is disrespectful. Wait, is that just like a comparison, or is that like an actual thing that has happened somewhere? But yeah, it is a similar kind of idea there. It's like, why? What freaking difference does it make? You know, like, I know that I'll talk about it more in a hot second. Let's see the support conversation first, that we're actually making progress.
This may seem a bit sudden, but I want to thank you, Professor. That is, for letting me live my life the way I want. I've noticed you've been giving me fewer of those soul-revealing gazes lately. I appreciate you making an effort to not trouble yourself over who I spend my time with.
So you found me out.
Well, of course. Did you think I wouldn't notice? It's kind of sweet in its own way. Professor, may I tell you a story about when I was younger? I was an orphan, living in the back alleys of Enbar, until one day I was overheard singing. That was when my new life began. I was suddenly a songstress in the Mittelfrank Opera Company. Performers, nobility. I met so many people. But none of them ever really knew me. I was just some young, pretty girl who could sing. A spectacle to be admired. Even though everyone praised my looks and my voice, and they showered me with gifts, I knew one day I'd be old. My looks would fade, my voice would change. I wouldn't sound the same. And I started to wonder, when I did get old, what would I have left? I'd be old, alone, and back on the streets of the capital, right where I'd started.
I won't let you be alone.
That's sweet of you, even if you are just flirting. I never had much to begin with in life, and I worry that one day I'll be that way again. That's why I keep searching for someone who will love me. Someone unaware of the songstress, who can love a girl that used to be scared and alone on the streets of the capital. I wonder if such a strange person can even exist.
Wow, ace support. Isn't that crazy? All right, yeah. Where were we at? Oh yeah, so there's the example there. Yeah, I don't really get like the whole, clothing conduct kind of thing with schools. Like, I know that another really big thing that happens at a lot of schools is like, a minimum dress code for like things that are covered. Like, you're not allowed to have shorts that are like too short than like, the ends of your fingers or something like that. And that it's like, I sort of get it, I guess, but like at the same time, it's like, like I get, I don't know. The only semblance in which I say I sort of get it is like, freaking sure, we'll go ahead and do that. Is like, as a guy, I know that, if people around me are wearing things that are a little bit much revealing, it could be a bit of a distraction from studies, Like, that's the semblance in which I get it in that terms of like dress code of like, length of stuff like that. Let's just put it that way. Let's just put it that way. How about? But at the same time, I do get like the other side of the argument there as well. People, wear whatever they want and stuff. Should I just do like a seminar? I'll just do it. Well, no, I should explore to like go munch some foods and whatnot is what I should do. So like, I kind of understand both sides of the argument in terms of like that kind of dress code, but in terms of things that don't really affect anything, like hat, scarf, like whatever, why would there be any rules around that kind of thing? I don't get it. I don't get it, quite frankly. Who knows? But yeah, let's see here. Sure, they violate some laws around their way, but schools tend to generally don't care too much when enrolling people because they can always find another excuse. That is true there. I guess that was in response to my my comment there about the thingamabob. But yeah, I know in response to that passage from Mortis about the alarms being set off, I actually have a kind of funny story from elementary school when it comes to alarms being set off. But yeah, hold on, just following up on stuff there. I am sorry to hear about that situation there. Some people really do just get like a kick out of like the worst stuff ever in a really sad kind of way. When I say I have a funny alarm story from elementary school, it was in a more funny kind of way. So a regular place for us to go here, like here, I live in Alberta, essentially. I live in Alberta, Canada. And one of the common places for us to take field trips if you live in Alberta is to Drumheller, especially when you're in elementary school. Because Drumheller in Alberta is basically like a big place for dinosaurs, essentially. So of course that's like a really fascinating place for like kiddos to go and learn about like the past and archaeology and see the Royal Tyrrell Museum and stuff like that. And there was a time that we had a field trip to Drumheller, and we saw the museum and such, but I remember we like spent the night over there. We spent the night in another school that allowed to let us sleep like in their gym. So we had so we were all just like a massive class / I think it was multiple classes, all just like hunkered down in the gym in this other school with like this separator thingamabob of some sort between all the guys and girls, despite the fact that we're all freaking children. Like, what's gonna happen? I remember they had some really weird practices there. Like, I remember there was like I forget what the reward was, but there was supposed to be like a reward in store for either the guys or girls for like whichever side would fall asleep first. And how they tested whether you fell asleep was by having teachers go around with flashlights that they like shine in your eyes. It was the stupidest thing. But anyway, in the middle of the night, it was at like 2 or 3 in the morning that like one of the people of our class, we'll call him Tim for the sake of the story. Let's call him Tim, how about? Tim, he had to use the washroom in the middle of the night. And so he gets up, he leaves the gym, and he goes to use the washroom in the middle of the night. And some way, somehow, he sets off an alarm completely by accident, because like it wasn't like, pulling an alarm kind of thing. It seemed like the school itself had like some sort of like motion alarm or something like that was set off, that I guess they didn't turn off for the night that there were people literally spending the night. I guess I didn't bother to turn it off there. So just by like walking to the washroom or something, maybe one of these days, I have his number around. Maybe I'll send him a text one of these days and ask him like if he, like what the exact circumstances were anyway. But I'm fairly certain it was just like a normal motion kind of kind of thing that set off this alarm. And it did not turn off for like over an hour. It was going like through the night and nobody got to sleep. I think the fire department showed up. It was like, it's like one of the worst nights ever. And it was so funny. Anyway. Oh man, there was a time during December that I actually went and had a dinner with a bunch of people that were from elementary school up through high school that I hadn't seen in forever. So we're counting some stories of old, and that was one of the stories that came up in conversation. Interestingly enough, gosh, I should really I should send him a text one of these days and ask for the better context behind that, like how the alarm was set off, if it just kind of happened while he was walking around or what it was. But that was a thing that happened on a Drumheller field trip. So the more you know. Wait, where is Dorothea? You can probably teach me magic, right? But yeah, anyway, I'll hold on, let me catch up on other stuff here. Problem is, male teachers still have to wear long pants even if it's 40 degrees or something, so they might be a bit sensitive about the topic. Is 40, like, when you say 40 degrees, do you mean Celsius? And is that an exaggeration there? Does it actually get that freaking hot over there sometimes? Most it would get over here is like 30 some, is the thing. I don't know, I'm not actually paying attention to what's being said right now. And some other news, I'm looking over at the Doogie cam there. Jessie went into the vet earlier today, and we were asking about some things with her and her behavior, and the vet theorized that the Doogie here might actually be developing dementia and be having troubles with memory. Might potentially be a thing, so there's that. Gosh dang it, what do I do? I have activity points to spend. What do I do here? Germany can be hot, huh? I know when I went on the German exchange trip, that was it right in the summer, or when was it? Gosh dang, I don't even remember when the German exchange trip was. If you see Aragon in chat at some point, ask him when that was. Maybe a little better memory than I did. But yeah, let's see here. As American, you forgot Celsius exists, even though it's way better than Fahrenheit. Yeah, I think that the States is like one of, what is it, 3 or 4 countries that use Fahrenheit? It's like the only significant power that uses Fahrenheit, while the whole rest of the world uses Celsius, is the thing. I don't know why them gosh darn Americans insist on continuing to use their freedom units and and whatnot. But yeah, it is pretty random there. But yeah, never shine people into their eyes with flashlights. Who thought that was a good idea? Some really, really deluded teachers, I guess, is what it was. Our elementary school was kind of weird in some ways. Was kind of the case. Like a lot of the teachers, luckily, were pretty chill for the most part, but some later teachers weren't as much. Like especially the new principal that came in when we got into grade 6. We had like a fun principal that left, and a new mean principal came in that like canceled all the fun events. Was the thing. So that was a thing there. What do I even do? Like, I'll go have some more meals, I guess. But yeah, the mention would never leave his backyard as he forgot what the world beyond it was. Jeez. Yeah, doesn't seem to be too bad for, well, I mean, here and there things are. Sure, let's go ahead and do this, and then, I don't know, we'll go into the sauna with someone else, or we can cook a meal, or some, I don't know. I don't need to use all these activity points. I don't think. Let's cook something with Bernie. Wow, the king of beefsteak. Wow, isn't this crazy?
Sounds fun. Let me show you my cooking talent.
Yeah, do that. Wow, use the force, Luke. Oh, should I turn this off just in case I use it for a thumbnail? Because like my options for using thumbnails for these parts are kind of limited, you know? It's probably not a bad idea. There we go. Or I guess I could just use like one of the supports and stuff is what I can do. Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and finish exploring. We have a lot of support conversations to get through. We'll get through those in a hot second here, I guess, is what we'll do. Let's go ahead and instruct manually. How about? I suppose I will. I'll do that. I mean, I am kind of tempted just to say auto instruct and, you know, screw it. I am tempted to. Don't you love how Edelgard has a budding talent in reason magic that she literally can't even use in her canon class? Isn't Fire Emblem 3 Houses a perfect game with no bugs or flaws whatsoever? I guess it wouldn't necessarily be like a bug, but you know what I mean. I'm just so used to saying no bugs or flaws whatsoever in reference to other games that have a bunch of bunch of bugs and stuff. You know, force of habit at this point. Wow. Let's do that. Sword is about to level up, so I'll just go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and do that. Why not? I can't wait to get this game done with. Like, again, I'm sure freaking 3 Hopes is going to be a lot more fun for me, quite frankly. Because of its connection to this, I'm a little bit sketched out. Even if, you know, it'll probably have no connections to this gameplay-wise. If 3 Hopes has a calendar system, I straight up think I'm gonna not do a playthrough of 3 Hopes if it has a calendar system. Like, I'll just say, screw this. No, I'm not. Quite frankly. Like, there are times that I pick up games on this channel that I don't enjoy for the sake of doing a review, like freaking Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shine, and Pearl, for example. But I think if 3 Hopes had a calendar system, I just wouldn't. Probably. So, you know, there's that. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be like a good fun game. Probably. I don't think I'd classify that under the same umbrella as like getting games I wouldn't enjoy. Like, I'm sure I'm probably gonna really enjoy 3 Hopes because I have really enjoyed the Nintendo Warriors games thus far. I'm probably just in a sour mood about it because of the whole 3 Houses situation. Yeah, we could do that. Could always hop over to WarioWare and do 1,000 perfect tea times instead. I'm almost tempted to. I would if it didn't mean that, like, I've halted the progress towards getting this done with, you know? Like, I'm committing to this here so that we get this done with already. If somehow I could play WarioWare just doing, like, tea time over and over again and still somehow make progress in this at the same time, I totally would. I think I'd rather be trying to set a new record in WarioWare tea time than playing more of this normally. Is quite frankly the case. I was actually kind of having fun trying to set records in the tea time in WarioWare, I'm gonna be honest. I was actually having a decent bit of fun with that. Quite frankly, way more fun than I probably should have. Oh yeah, I could teach Yuritsa, I forgot about him, I'm gonna be honest.